The growing hatred for finance influencers. What is this?
From a broke college dropout to a multi-millionaire. Today I'm going to share my full story with you.
Lately, I've noticed my perception of finance YouTubers slowly shifting, from educational resource to scammy salesman. And I'm not the only one that thinks this.
Financial YouTubers are a cancer. Time and time again, they keep getting away with shilling terrible advice to their massive viewer base, and there's never any accountability.
There's a growing sentiment from their followers online that feel the exact same way. But it wasn't.
I think the problem is that a lot of these guys take... So this is the issue, I think, is that... And I'm sure she'll probably say this in the video. It's when they take one of the videos and they put an ad in the video, and the ad is about a finance topic. And then people are like, oh, well, I'm going to listen to this because this person I go to for financial advice. That's what really happens.
Always like this.
It's the things they promote.
Once trusted sources of financial wisdom are now slowly being perceived as greedy grifters.
Always has been. Let's see it.
Hey guys, it's Donna. This video was requested by one of you. Shout out Orchid Purple 420. Okay, today we are going to be talking about finance YouTubers. Now this is a very broad genre, so specifically, we're going to be talking about the educational sector. Your Graham Steffens, Andre Jakes, Meet Kevins.
And this is the problem, right? Is that people go to these guys for advice, but there's no accountability for the advice they give.
These YouTubers have given practical advice for the everyday person. What's an IRA? What's an index fund?
Yeah.
In terms of finance, the educational influencer was...
And also, in a lot of these cases, the baseline low-level advice that they're giving is extremely useful and beneficial. Because, like, somebody doesn't get a big channel making up everything. Right? Like, they're not making all this up. It's not like they only give bad advice.
I think considered one of the most trusted as opposed to someone like Tai Lopez. But people are starting to distrust them as well. A few weeks ago, that was made... But people are...
I wanted to improve my sales without spending thousands of dollars, so I decided to purchase Tai Lopez's course for Black Belt Sales Persuasion Mastery for $97. It turns out the course doesn't even exist. After buying it, I couldn't access it because it's coming soon. So because I basically spent my money on nothing, I decided to give him a chance and emailed his support on multiple channels about when the course would come online. Since, in all honesty, I don't want to learn sales next month or even next year. I need it now. Well, nobody answered me. After waiting over 2 days, I decided to request a refund. Well, surprise, I didn't get a refund. I think that he should say thank you to Tai Lopez. Because he learned something even more important than sales. Not to trust people that are selling courses on the internet. And it only cost him $97. That's a pretty good lesson. Yeah, there you go.
Distrust
That's
them
a life
as
lesson.
well. A few weeks ago, that was made even more clear in a video by CoffeeZilla. The peak of this distrust has been prompted by a video from CoffeeZilla called YouTuber Bank Won't Let Me Withdraw Money.
Yeah. They were talking about...
This is about, again, it's a sponsor, right? This is the issue.
A bank promoted by YouTubers that's now become a casino,
being
and
paid.
users can't get their money out.
In short, YouTubers such as Graham Stephan, Nate O'Brien, and Andre Jakes promoted a product that has put many of their followers in financial ruin. This product was Yada Bank, a banking service that seems to have turned into a casino, and now viewers can't withdraw their money. Individuals on Reddit calling Graham a snake oil salesman that got them screwed. To be fair to Graham and all the other YouTubers that promoted this bank, including Markiplier, it's not completely their fault. There'd be no...
Well, it's not their fault at all, really. I mean, they didn't know what they were doing. It's just that when you take a promotion for something like this inside of the field that you've built a channel and a reputation for being accurate about, you can't be surprised whenever people take that and they correlate it to thinking that this is something that's also beneficial that falls under the categories that you have outlined that you think are important. So yeah, take some responsibility for shit you promote. Well, you can, but like realistically, basically, I think about it from a perspective. Did this person act in good faith by doing this? Did they at any point in time ignore something that they should not have ignored? And I think in a lot of these circumstances, the circumstances that caused the bad thing to happen were not public. So it's not like they really knew this was going to happen. It's not like they knew, oh, this thing is really bad. I'm going to promote it to my followers anyway because I'm getting a lot of money. And I'm not saying that like that totally absolves them of accountability. But if you say that it doesn't, then think about how many other bad things have happened over the years that are scams. And it's like, is everybody who's promoted this accountable? Probably not. But I think the issue explicitly with the finance is the fact that they're doing it from a position of authority. That's the difference. Rather than like just a YouTuber promoting some bullshit, who cares? It's that people go to them for financial advice, then they get the advice, and the advice is bad. You see what I'm saying?
Way for any influencer to foresee this disaster. In short, the reason users can't withdraw their money is because of a middleman dispute between Yotta's banking partners. The problem is a bit complex, so I'll link some articles that will explain this in detail if you're interested. But essentially, two intermediaries, Synapse and Evolve Bank, can't agree over transaction and balance ledgers. As a result, thousands of customers have been unable to access their funds because these companies can't agree on how much they have or don't have and who has what.
And realistically, nobody is like the people that are promoting this could have never known this was going to happen. You could have never predicted this. Like there's never a point where good advice was someone went and they would forego good advice in order to take this.
Blaming an influencer for this would be like blaming Mr. Beast if his sponsor, let's say that game Brawl Stars, ever glitches out. It's Brawl Stars' fault if their game glitches, not his.
Exactly.
Yet one peek at Graham Stephan's...
Well, it would be his fault if he knew it glitched out and he did it anyway. And there's a very big difference there. So, like, at a certain point, there are people that don't do enough research into a sponsor in a lot of cases. And I think that people want to find somebody to blame. And because they trust YouTubers, they want to get mad at YouTubers. But sometimes it is a YouTuber's fault, sometimes it's not. It really depends on what the situation is.
Comment section today, after this fiasco, shows you just how much animosity there is still towards him. On the surface, this seems like a case of a mob angry because everyone else is angry. But it's not. CoffeeZilla even acknowledges that there is no way for these YouTubers to predict this disaster.
Yeah, everybody agrees with this.
This is because this animosity has been brewing for these educational finance influencers for years.
Am I about to clap some millennial money cheeks? Except for Graham, the only intelligent person on this frickin' panel of bozos.
You have people who claim they no longer watch them. Others...
I love how the reference source is a random guy with his shirt off in his room talking shit about a podcast. It's like, yeah, I see what he's saying? Yeah, you see him? Yeah, that's what people think.
Except for Graham, the only intelligent person on this frickin' panel of bozos.
You have people who claim they no longer watch them. Others accuse them of being scammers. Meet Kevin's entire subreddit has completely turned on him. What's interesting...
He was so confident that Tesla will jump over 200 once Elon gets his package.
...about this phenomenon is that the criticism isn't just towards one guy. It's towards almost all educational finfluencers across the board. Gonna call them that for the rest of the video. It's shorter and makes things easier. So, why is everyone turned on them? I can answer that question for you in two words. Greed and the algorithm. That's technically 4 words, but I never know if people count the "and" though whenever they use that phrase. Let's go back to 2015, where social...
Oh my god. It's this guy, bro. It's this guy. How do you trust? How do you give this guy $97? How you give him $97? Who you think can fucking give this guy $97 for? Why would you give him $97?
Media was filled with these scammy salesmen who illustrated themselves as financial gurus.
Here in my garage, just bought this new Lamborghini here.
Wow.
They showcased their fancy cars as they gave advice to their audience. They talked about how they got rich with the spectacular view behind them. This influencer showcased beautiful women, interviewed high-profile celebrities, and seemed to live a life of luxury. The problem with these types of videos were they were always selling something. The promise of...
Yeah, how you want to know how to be successful like them? Tell people you're successful and sell a course on how to get successful. That's how to do it. It's simple. Yeah, sell courses. I wish that like somebody actually went out and did that. That the way that I got successful was selling courses on how to be successful. So how do you know how to be successful? Oh, I don't. I just looked at what other people did and I figured maybe that would work. That would be fucking funny.
Their lifestyle. And for the low payment of $1,000 and your soul, you too could become a millionaire if you buy my course. It was so salesy and inauthentic, almost everyone and their grandma knew these videos were essentially ads.
Kind of obscene how every detail of this video is so purposeful. The Lamborghini, the garage, the bookshelf, and he wants your money so bad, dude. He's thought about this video a lot.
Well, the thing is like the kind of people that get influenced by, oh my god, expensive car? Where do I sign up? Where do I give my money away? The kind of people that get influenced by that are stupid. And again, if you want a stupid person to give you their money, sell them hope. For stupid and desperate people, that is the most fucking finite resource in their life. Sell them hope, take advantage of them, and they'll give you all of their money.
However, by 2016/2017, you had new voices coming into the finance genre. Education. Yep. They were teaching viewers all about credit, what the hell dividends are, an ETF versus a mutual fund.
And I bet if you look at these videos, they are incredibly accurate and very informative. I bet in a lot of these videos, like, these are good videos.
And all about the stock market. Some of these YouTubers, such as Meet Kevin, even did deep dives on some of the scammy salesmen that dominated early YouTube, getting sued by Grant Cardone. These guys were actually carving out their own section in finance YouTube, where viewers saw them as a separate entity from the scammy salesmen. They were educational, trustworthy, and informative.
Sure. And I am here to provide free, easy-to-understand financial education.
Dare I say, Millennial Dave Ramsey or Susie Orman? This era in finance...
I think that those people, like, a lot of people just don't learn this stuff. Because, like, for me, I'm very lucky, right? Growing up, my dad was, executive at a company, knew a lot about finance, always had invested money, been doing it for 50 fucking years. So, like, I grew up and, like, around him and his friends and, like, my family, like, everybody knew about this, right? It's not a big deal. But for somebody that doesn't grow up with that, yeah, how the fuck are you going to figure it out? Yeah, what are you supposed to do?
YouTube was, I mean, honestly, kind of life-changing for me. My parents are immigrants, so their financial advice to me was just, save money, credit cards are bad. And school teaches you nothing, by the way. Or maybe they did, just wasn't paying attention.
Well, they do. They teach you about cells, and they teach you about how to divide a fraction in a theoretical situation.
But part of the reason why I opened up a Roth IRA was because of Graham Stephan's videos. I was so annoyed by all the Ty Lopez's promising this unattainable dream, but these finfluencers were like a breath of fresh air. They actually gave me something practical to use for free that I could do that day. Yeah. But there's a problem with sensible education content in finance. You can only do so much of it. Unlike Mr. Beast's content, which thrives as long as his brain works, some genres have a natural limit on the amount of content that can be produced. I believe finance content...
Just makes me think of, like, every time, like, there's a teaser for something and, like, VatiVidya makes, like, a 30-minute video about, like, the screenshot of Shadow of the Erd Tree. Or, like, there's like a fucking Ashes of Creation live stream, and, like, Narc makes, like, 8 videos about it. Yeah. No, this is very true. Because, like, people, it's their job to continuously create content. But whenever you're inside of an industry that doesn't lend itself to that type of mentality, then, yeah, you are going to kind of invent things at some point.
That is sensible,
like filler,
and educational basically. Is one of those genres. There are only so many ways one can explain the difference between a Roth IRA versus a traditional IRA, or which credit card is the best for beginners. Take me, for example. I think I represent...
You see, like, somebody who does it the right way is, like, there's this one guy, I think he's in Austin, his name's Caleb, and he interviews people that are really stupid with money, and that never gets old. So, like, if these finance influencers want to keep having more content, start talking to people that are bad with money, and nobody will ever get tired of that, because they're probably also bad with money, the ones who are watching you, but they're not that bad, and it makes them feel good. You know, so funny. Yeah, there it is, Caleb Hammer. Yeah, exactly.
One type of viewer that a lot of these educational influencers had. I'm an average person just looking for a way to optimize my current income. I'm not trying to take a big risk right now, picking some stock where I can go all in and become a millionaire. I was literally just looking for how to do the basics.
How to do 8% a month
and
for a
then
year.
I kind of stopped watching them. And that's a problem for these guys. As you should know by now, creators are paid based on how much viewership they garner from their videos.
Exactly.
And sponsorships, of course, but we'll get back to that. The more views they get, the more money they make. If you have a viewer base that will eventually stop watching you after, let's say, 7 videos, that money is eventually going to be less than it was before.
Right.
I see this a lot in the education space in general.
This is what always happens, is everything happens in the context of needing to make money. So you have in-shitification of everything because you need to do something regularly in order to make money, but not everything needs to happen regularly.
Get what they need and then they leave. Take fitness, for example. The beginner just getting into gym culture will often watch a fitness influencer to build their own fitness routine and sometimes their diet. After they perfect their form and build the routine, there really is no reason to keep watching. This is why a lot of fitness education channels have inconsistent viewership. Their channels are a revolving door of new people coming in and out. In theory, this sounds okay because there will always be new viewers. In the eyes of brands, it's not so great.
Well, it's in the eyes of the people that are making the videos, it's not so great. Because usually this is what happens with views on videos, right? Is like, I mean, and everybody knows this. It goes like this. Right? Or it will, like, actually, it'll go up, and then it will do like this. This is the way almost every video works, is it will plateau out. So whenever you're right here, this is the good time, and this is the bad time. Because the difference between these two is very small. So that's why people keep making new videos for stuff.
Influencer is unable to build a loyal community. They keep leaving after everything they need. This leads to less likelihood of those new people purchasing whatever product.
I also think that this is only a problem for people that are not creative. I think that if you want to exist as an entrepreneur in any field and be successful, especially in a competitive field that has like no barrier to entry like YouTube, you have to be incredibly creative. You have to be able to think of ideas and think of solutions to problems that nobody else has thought of before, or synthesize other solutions that people have and make them work for you in your industry instead. So like that's every business. That's what I'm saying, right? But like it's every business, but it's not every person in the business. That's why I said entrepreneur. So like I try to pick my words, right? Clearly. So if you're trying to exist independently, then yes, you do need to do this. You have to be creative.
However, the fitness genre has been able to solve this. Lifestyle content and fitness entertainment is a growing community with consistent viewership. Viewers are watching for the creator rather than just the info. So, after exhausting basic sensible topics, these finfluencers had to target an audience that would actually become a community, like in fitness entertainment. Is it even possible to do that in the genre? The person that sticks around isn't the safe investor who invests long term. Again, they've already learned basic finance from early videos. I mean, you could probably look at any of these guys' videos, sort by oldest, and find that everything used to be basic and educational. Today, it's all clickbait.
How to plan for retirement, top 10 undervalued stocks, how to buy stocks for beginners. I don't think this is problematic. Artificial intelligence will job. Like, I mean, yeah, there's obviously a difference. This is also something that's created on YouTube as well, just like through the algorithm.
This is just my speculation here, but I think the person that watches the finance influencer isn't someone who's experienced. And I'm not trying to diss them. Anyone is free to share their opinions on how to invest or whatever. I just doubt that people who are experienced in the world of finance are interested in hearing the opinions from people who make their money solely using content creation or selling courses. The type of viewer that these guys are able to keep are probably beginners, but beginners with this...
Well, that's what they're intended for. I don't actually think this is a diss at all. I think that clearly, like, these guys are not... Like, do any of these finance guys know as much, the ones on YouTube, do they know as much as the guys that are senior partners at Goldman Sachs? I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think they do. Hell no, exactly. No, but they think they do. Yeah, but like that doesn't matter. That's not a big deal. It's not like you don't need an MIT professional or an MIT professor to explain how gravity works. Other people can explain that in a way that's easy to understand for like a layman.
Sense of, I want more. I want to be rich too. For these viewers, it's like, okay, you taught me how to set up my Robinhood or whatever brokerage, but tell me what stock is the next Tesla so I can make a lot of money.
Again, selling hope to stupid broke people.
And that is where the greed starts to kick in.
Yep, there you go.
Instead of giving that same level-headed advice as they've done before, many finfluencers started to feed into the emotional and irrational tendencies of their viewers, like producing videos on which individual stocks to buy.
Which, in my opinion, I think that's totally different. Like, I do think that's, like, a completely different scenario. It is? Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, buy now, buy this now, do this now. Yeah, it's nuts.
Hey, everyone, me, Kevin, here. I just came back from a run, and I am so excited to be able to share my stock portfolio with you. I'm going to show you everything.
Let me tell you right now, there isn't one expert that can tell you which stock will make you $1 million. Otherwise, we'd all be listening to that expert. Unless it's Nancy Pelosi.
Isn't it crazy?
If you happen to see her buy something, you do it.
Tic-tac-toe. A winner.
So,
man,
why would these YouTubers...
You know she's older than Biden?
...think of themselves as any different? They don't. But these videos do get views. Investing is always going to come with risk, obviously, and advice has to be catered for the individual. But for simplicity's sake, and this is not financial advice,
serious.
One of the most generic and common pieces of advice that's often given is to invest your money in a broad index fund like the S&P 500.
The advantage of doing this is that index fund investing has outperformed 99% of active investors over a 20-year period.
But that's boring and it doesn't get any views. It's been said
Yeah, exactly. Like, what do you want to hear about how somebody lost 6 pounds in 5 years? Or how somebody lost 60 pounds in 5 days. I mean, come on. You want to have the one that's more exciting. Yeah, just tweet. Yeah, you always going to have that. This is the same with, like, remember those Warcraft gold guides where it's like how to make some ridiculous extrapolation of money per hour? And it would be totally wrong. And I would go back in the day, I would go back and actually criticize these guides. And I would say, this isn't how it works. And the reason why is that a lot of people misread and don't understand data. I remember that shit. Yeah, I did that like 10 years ago.
1,000 times before. By them sometimes. In order to cultivate recurring viewership and get that delicious ad revenue, many abandoned that level-headed image by introducing these riskier plays. They didn't outright tell you which stocks to buy because giving financial advice in the US is regulated. It was more like, hey, here's what's in my portfolio. And these viewers tended to follow the world of finance religiously because they needed to know how the market was doing, so they didn't...
Well, there's an implicit trust that's created. Because the implicit trust comes from the fact that they are already speaking from a position of authority. Or assumed authority.
Lose money. This is how many of these finfluencers were able to transition into news. Now, this was all fine and dandy until so many of their...
Well, somebody says the transmog ones actually worked. It would just take forever to sell if you have a bunch of auctions like I used to. Yeah, so this is the problem, right? So I'm going to explain why that's... So, like, with, like, the gold farming guides, this is not actually completely different than this. Is that whenever you talk about the amount of time per hour that you're spending doing something, and you don't add in the administration time and view it over a long period of time, then you are painting an inaccurate picture. So if you know what the sale rate of an item is, and you know you're going to sell 1 per month, but you think you can farm 5 of them an hour, you can't make 15 of them and then make that money. That's going to be a constant 2 or 3 day investment all of the time. And that's the difference, right? Is that people don't understand how to amortize value and then how to balance fixed costs versus variable costs and how to average them together in a long-term view. It's because they don't really because I remember I remember so clearly when I learned about supply and demand. I was leveling up my blacksmithing in Burning Crusade, and I was putting fell steel gauntlets on the auction house. And halfway through putting up 30 fell steel gauntlets, I asked myself the question, are there going to be 30 people that buy these within the next 24 hours? I don't think there will be. And then it was like a fucking light went on in my head. And I was like, oh my God, I'm a fucking idiot. That's one of the good things of MMOs, by the way, is it teaches people this stuff. Sounds like a management major? Yeah, exactly. It's just that's how it works.
Stock picks began to lose their viewers money.
Same with PoE trade? Yeah, exactly.
His entire channel grew off of a scam cryptocurrency, Shiba Inu coin, and penny stocks.
We are seeing millionaires printed.
That is how he grew his channel to 600,000 subscribers. Obviously, you should be called out for that.
In a video uploaded in 2023, Carson Gall found that listening to Andrei Zik would give you a return of -5%. Listening to financial education, -53%. Stock Mo, -68%.
Jeez, this isn't even the worst one. What's going to be here?
This video by Cooper Academy that was uploaded last year in July found that Meet Kevin's stock fund that he titled My Top
YouTube Guru who got rich while his fans got poor. What a
7
surprise.
stocks was up barely 2%, while the market at the time was up 32%.
Wow.
What's funny, well maybe not for people that have lost money, is that a lot of these influencers sell a course on buying stocks.
See, this is how they really make their money. How they're really making their money is through these courses and getting, again, stupid, desperate people to give them money. Because these people, like, again, it is so easy to make money. Just sell stupid people hope. Religion does it. Politics does it. And so does the finance world. That's the way it works. It's so easy. They'll give you all their money.
I don't see anything wrong with this per se. Gatekeeping is dumb, and anyone should be able to give their opinion. But should you really sell a course if your results are -53%?
Well, yeah, on how to lose your money.
The veil was beginning to lift for a lot of their viewers. Meet Kevin's subreddit has turned into a space that seems dedicated to criticizing his every move. This isn't some case of subjective hate where you made a cringy music video and now people hate you.
Right.
A finance influencer's content has the potential to cause life-altering situations. People have deleted themselves, if you know what I mean, over stocks.
Well, here's the thing, is that if you're investing your money based off of what some random guy on YouTube tells you to do, you're a fucking moron. And, like, I don't have any sympathy for you. I don't. Now, I also think that they're bad actors. But whenever somebody says, oh, this bad thing happened to me whenever I made a bad decision, I say, rip bozo, you get what you fucking deserve. I'm sorry. That's just the way I am. But at the same time, they shouldn't be out there doing the shit either.
Another tempting high-view topic that these influencers could produce videos on was crypto. Not a lot of them did this, because while it was a popular topic, if they advised their viewer the wrong coin, their integrity...
Somebody says, should we not have compassion for stupid people? I have compassion for them, but well, actually, I don't. I just don't have compassion for the scammers. I genuinely don't. Like, if somebody's stupid and they make a bad decision and it hurts them, I say, oops, oh, you're stupid. That's what you get. You deserve it. Yeah, I actually don't care. However, I also don't think that the people deserve to be able to scam them either. Because usually the people that are scamming them are only slightly smarter than they are. Yeah, so, I mean, like, it's not that, like, I don't care about them. Or, sorry, it's not that that means that I don't think anything should happen. I think that they do deserve it, even though the people that are doing it are also bad and they should be punished. Right? It's both of them.
would deeply suffer. Considering the fact that not a lot of crypto projects other than Bitcoin and Ethereum survive, it is a high-risk topic to discuss, especially if you're viewed as a level-headed finance influencer.
Ooh.
The most prominent person who decided to take this risk was Andre Jik.
200. Look at that. Oh my God. $2 million. Wow.
Hi, my name is Andre Jik. Hope you're doing well. I'm still not a crypto channel, so come for the finance and stay for the crypto. It's a phase. Leave me alone.
You could say the jig is up.
Good one.
Talking about cryptocurrency in general.
Yeah, no, I think it's definitely right. I mean, like with a lot of these like crypto things, if you really get down and like, so this is something that I've learned looking in sales. Do you want to know how most people make sales predictions? So what they do is they have a dartboard, okay? And they have a monkey with a blindfold, and they spin the monkey 3 times around the dartboard, and then they throw it, and then the number that the monkey hits, well, they don't pick that number. They just randomly pick another number. And that's what the extrapolation is. That's how people decide what their sales decisions are. Yeah, they throw the monkey. Yeah, no, they don't even pick what the monkey picks. So a lot of these times that people like make these decisions, like with crypto, etc., if you actually break down how they make the decisions, a lot of points in time, because the decision-making process should be what's important, right? Not necessarily the outcome of the decision-making process. You know, teach a man to fish versus giving him a fish. So the decision-making process is never really fully explained. And that's because it doesn't exist. It's guessing.
And even explaining what certain coins are, in my opinion, is fine. But if you were viewed as an authoritative educator in finance, you really should not be promoting, even if it's implicitly, altcoins that are highly volatile. Again, their demographic is likely the irrational beginner who wants to be rich like them. The moral thing to do is not to feed into that irrationality. We'll be missing out on some views, but at least you'll keep your integrity. Andre always had a caveat.
Well, it will also damage your brand in the long term because people will grow to think that you're a scammer or a clown. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. It's not like, oh, there's going to be like three of these videos and then you're going to be like disliked. It's something that accumulates over like 5 or 10 years. Sadly, it didn't work for Logan Paul. What do you mean? A lot of people think he's an idiot for the crypto zoo thing. A lot of people do. Absolutely, it didn't work. Now, he can do something else, but he's not doing that again, is he?
In his crypto videos, along the lines of explaining he wasn't an expert. He also never explicitly said, buy this crypto and you'll be rich, but showed just how much he invested into certain altcoins. And if you are that irrational beginner, you're likely going to copy because he's not Tai Lopez. He's a financial educator. As you might have guessed, some of his picks didn't do so well. His notable videos include Cardano, which is uploaded when it was around $1.35. If you sold 3 months later, you could have made a profit because it hit almost $3, but if you waited till today, it's not even $1. Then there was Sheeb.
Well, the reason why, like, this is the issue, is that there's no logical reason for it to go up or for it to go down. It's not like something happened that caused this to change in the market. A lot of this is just bag holding. So you can't extrapolate any sort of a pattern because there's no pattern that exists. The only pattern that can exist inside of crypto is a pattern that is, what do you call it? Reactionary to regulation.
Which she promoted in October of 2021, right at the peak. It had a small pop recently, but it's never returned to those all-time highs again. One of his worst picks, in my opinion, was the crypto Omi. At the time of
I guess, I don't know if she'll get mad at me for saying this, but I'll say it. So you guys know Pink Sparkles, Izzy. She made a ridiculous amount of money on GameStop. A crazy amount of money. So it does happen for some people. It's nuts. A lot of people did, yeah. So like it happens, but like that's false stack. It's linked to the stock market. So then why not just invest in the stock market? If its correlation is with the stock market, then why wouldn't you just invest into that? But like sometimes people get lucky, right? Winning the lottery happens too. Yeah, people sometimes just get lucky. They put their money in and it goes well.
It was 0.009 cents. Today, it is worth 0.30 and something cents. What's worse is that if you listened to him and bought when he uploaded his video, it never hit 0.009 cents ever again, meaning you only lost money. Hey.
Damn. So this is like a advice on how to lose all your money. That's crazy. Like, I'm gonna be honest, like people that do this, how fucking dumb do you have to be to do this? I'm sorry. Like, I'm such a fucking asshole. I'm such a dick. And I love it. You are so fucking stupid if you invest in this bullshit based off of a YouTube video from a guy wearing a Back to the Future t-shirt. You are so fucking stupid. It's crazy.
Hey, but the views were worth it, right? Courses aren't bad. Crypto isn't bad. Well, certain ones at least. But of course, you're going to get criticism if you positioned yourself.
Investing into crypto without any sort of context and listening to a YouTuber tell you what to invest in is bad, and you're stupid for doing it. It is bad. I will be very clear. If you are listening to a YouTuber that's telling you to invest into meme coins and you lose your money, you're a fucking moron. There it is.
Self as an authoritative figure in finance, and the things you teach or the crypto you've invested in lost yourself money and or your viewers money.
Yep.
Other finfluencers like Graham Stephan have really tried to avoid this controversy. He hasn't done any videos on which stocks to pick. He doesn't tell you which crypto, if any, he's invested in. If he talks about crypto, it's in a very general sense. His content still caters to the beginners, and he focuses on news.
Good for him.
Now, I would go as far to say that Graham Stephan is probably the biggest educational finance content creator there is. If he were to make videos on which stocks to buy or which crypto to invest in, those things would go to the moon. His views would go to the moon. To Graham's credit, he's done well.
They wouldn't. That's the thing. Is that it's like taking like drugs or something like that. Like steroids. Like, yes, it will help you go to the moon in the short term, but you're not going to be able to go back to Earth. So, like, after you make that decision and after you shift over to that, you can't put the cat back in the bag. At that point, like, somebody's reputation is damaged and people won't treat you seriously anymore, right? So it's like at the moment that somebody starts selling out like that, there is an expiration date for their channel. So it's only a good idea if you're thinking in the short term. So yeah, he would make more money in the short term, but he would lose money in the long term.
To avoid that and protect his integrity. However, there is an incentive to make up for that loss in potential revenue.
I asked around, the sponsorship deals were absurd. I know a guy, much smaller channel than me, making $500,000 a year, $50K a month just to promote FTX US. So I know the bigger guys were getting
FTX. Oh, yeah. Ooh.
Much more. Some of them probably deals were in the millions.
Graham, among other influencers, have a horrible track record in promoting products that have completely destroyed.
They only care about views, treat that they're good guys. People can't see through their bullshit. Like, this is a completely fucking, like, what does this mean? Like, this is such a stupid title. Such a stupid post.
Their viewers financially. We already talked about Yada Bank, but he, along with other finfluencers, also promoted FTX.
Which, by the way, so did others, like other people. The reality is that a lot of the people that take the money, this is like a larger conversation, is like, is it ethical to promote things that deal with money? I think that it depends on what you're doing, and it depends on what the thing is specifically. But I think that for a finance content creator, it is worse than if it's a random person. That's why, for example, I think Markiplier had promoted that Yada Bank, but nobody's getting mad at Markiplier because he's not seen as a position of authority in the topic.
Many of the large personal finance YouTubers, including Graham Stephan, Andre Jig, Meet Kevin, Minority Mindset, and Jeremy from Financial Education, have promoted this exchange in the past.
FTX's failure likened to Enron's scandal or Bernie Madoff's Ponzi scheme.
Similar to Yada, customers could not withdraw their funds, this time from a crypto exchange.
I think that what really matters is, like, if a person is going into this and they don't know about it, or sorry, like, there have always been scams with sponsors, and not every scam with a sponsor is the fault of the person who takes the sponsor. Because you just couldn't have predicted that. You didn't have that information available to you, so how could you have known? And I think this is the case with anything. Like, you can't get mad. It's the same as, like, somebody who's friends with somebody else who gets in trouble, like Nick Merckx, for example. Like, Nick Merckx, everybody was shitting on Nick Merckx because he was friends with Doc. The implication is that Nick knew what Doc was doing. But what if he just didn't know because Doc didn't tell him? So, like, people are looking for someone to blame, but just because you're looking for somebody to blame doesn't mean that somebody's worth blaming.
In short, it was an alleged scam and went bankrupt.
Yeah.
That's the scariest part. So many of these experts who are giving you guys...
As I'm being so soft, the YouTubers? Well, no, it's because I understand how sponsors work, and I know how it works. I think there's a lot of cases where this is the case. Getting randomly mad at somebody for not knowing something that wasn't public knowledge and that was intentionally hidden from them. Like, you can get mad if you want to be mad, but you're not really going to solve anything. It's not going to improve anything. It doesn't do anything. You're just getting mad for nothing. And that's what I was saying before about how if you are against this, you should be against all types of financial advertisements, period.
This advice totally bought into this Sam character as this genius billionaire, right? The most generous billionaire in the world, who also happened to be paying them handsomely, of course. And I just think it shows how bad the discernment is out there making videos on how to invest. It's alarming how many people fell for this guy's ruse. And it's alarming how easy it was to convince them. Like, some of these guys believed in Sam because he drives a beat-up car.
Oh, but wait, there are...
Who cares? Like, I mean, it's not a big deal, right? It's medical, financial advice don't get advertised. Yeah. Are the sponsorships of what you know nothing about just another greedy grift? Well, I think that it's not about, like, what you don't know about. It's about the information that would make it bad isn't made public. So, like, somebody says this is a good thing, but it's like privately it's not. Well, how are you supposed to know what? Like, I mean, you don't know that. How could you possibly know that? You see what I'm saying? No one knew. Yeah, people didn't know.
There are other things that influencers have either promoted or put money into that have gone badly. Andre Jig and Jeremy from Financial Education backed Voyager. People like Meet Kevin and Andre Jig again put money into BlockFi. Sponsorships also lead to a conflict of interest. FTX, BlockFi, Yada. These companies are smart. Let me clarify, smart when it comes to marketing. They know humans have a cognitive bias called anchoring. It's when humans rely heavily on the first piece of information they receive when making decisions. Here, you have someone who has built a brand that illustrates themselves as a responsible financial educator.
Yeah, I think this is really the concern. It's not even that it's the bank or anything like that. It's that there's this conflict of, like, this person's coming at it from a position of authority. That's where it's really problematic. It's like, for example, like, I think the guy's like Dr. Mike, right? I bet, like, on YouTube, I bet if he was promoting something that was, like, health related, that it would be held to a higher degree of scrutiny because people listen to him for health advice. It's just common sense, right?
This first piece of information anchors a viewer's perception of them as a whole. With 2 out of the 3 of those companies involving crypto, it's gonna be extremely risky to invest in them. The perception of risk is mitigated, though, because it is being endorsed by the educational influencer. One of the most common arguments finance influencers use, not necessarily to justify bad crypto/stock picks or bad sponsorships, but more to dismiss their fault, is to say that they got scammed too. And I think this is true, yeah. These influencers didn't have insider information that the public didn't have. But I can see how this argument would frustrate a lot of people. On one hand, the finance influencer positions themselves as an authoritative figure in the space.
Exactly.
They call themselves educators. They sell.
That's the that's why people are really mad about it. They're really mad, and also like the sponsorship is only apparently like a small part of this. I'm really surprised. One thing I learned from this video is I think it's crazy. It is fucking crazy that these guys are promoting actual individual stocks. The ethical choice would be not to promote something with incomplete knowledge. You can't promote something with complete knowledge. You're never going to know everything about it. Like, just realistically, it's not going to happen. Like, I'm just like, yeah, like that's, this is like a thing that like people like saying because it sounds good, but in practice, this is not functional. But I think it's crazy they're promoting actual individual stocks.
Courses, they make informative
That's
videos.
crazy.
They're an expert. They supposedly know a lot and want to share that knowledge with you. But then when they make a mistake, all of a sudden it's, oh, I don't have experience in this. I'm just like you.
Yeah.
You can't be both. This is why so many people call them greedy. They're an expert when it's convenient, when they want views or when they want to sell their courses. But they're an amateur, just like me and you, when their stock/crypto picks don't work out. Some influencers like Nate O'Brien have realized they've exhausted a lot of topics in basic finance.
I had said everything that I needed to say. I've made all the videos that I wanted to make and the thoughts that I wanted to share. I feel like 95% of those I've already done.
As a creator myself, I do understand that they're trying to keep their business afloat, and a portion of that is through views.
Be creative. Just be creative. It's easy. Be creative, beat the competition. If you can't do that, if you can't do that, then you deserve to lose. That's what my perspective is. If you can't beat other people and you can't be creative to stay relevant, then you deserve to die. That's the way it goes. And somebody else will take your place that is.
I don't think Grandma's the worst guy ever, but I think the problem with these finance channels is they do a lot of fear mongering, and a lot of what they're doing is strictly just like, it's like entertainment and bad advice as opposed to like actual genuine good advice that'll actually help people.
That begs the question, what's the line between running your YouTube business, but also staying educational and ethical?
If you pay close attention, you will notice that more qualified creators like Richard at the Plain Bagel, who is an investment analyst and has a CFA, and Ben Felix, who is a portfolio manager, avoid making financial recommendations because they know.
Isn't that interesting how the people that are the most educated and the most informed and have the most credibility in the actual like professional space aren't doing this? I feel like if you see that, like that's one of those like that's one of these like common sense checks where it's like, wow, it looks like all the people that have a lot of credibility professionally aren't doing this, and the only people that are doing it are these guys that don't have credibility. Huh. Oh, wow. What? Ooh, what's this? You see what I'm saying?
They can't do it to an audience of that size without doing more harm than good. And I think the choice to not give wild speculative advice is why their audience is significantly smaller than these more exciting characters.
Regardless of the answer to this question, the criticism finance influencers faced is well deserved.
Jeremy? Yeah, do you want to learn how to make $1,000 or how to make $1 million? I mean, come on, which one's going to get more clicks?
From financial education is a fraudster, he's a scammer, he's an idiot, he's a moron.
These vocal critics aren't mere internet trolls. They were once die-hard supporters, many of which have faced significant losses.
Hard to trust influencers, got my money stuck involved, and 95% is gone. Downloaded and started investing. Listened to a finfluencer on YouTube and trusted him because he recommended the app and said good things about it with confidence. Who should I blame? Yourself. Blame yourself. You're a fucking idiot. Shouldn't have done it. You can blame him too. It's also his fault. But he's going to keep doing what he's doing, and the only person that's going to have to live with the consequences is you. You can't control what he's doing, but you can control what you do. And I understand some people get upset whenever I say stuff like this because nowadays the biggest allergy people have is to personal accountability. But this is actually true. Everybody always wants to blame somebody else. Who should I blame? Yeah, you ever thought about blaming yourself? You put yourself in this situation.
All right, guys. I mean, putting aside the bad sponsorships, I don't know if this is a YouTube thing, like as a whole, or just the finance genre. But the content now feels soulless. So
yes, it's actually not a finance thing. I'll give you 2 examples. The first example I would use would be original titles or something like that. I'm trying to remember the established titles. So this was a meme thing where you could become a Scottish lord if you bought property in a certain place through this other company. But it turned out that the entire thing was in fact a scam from the beginning. And actually this is, so that's the first example I would use. It was a scam and it had nothing to do with finance. It did, but it didn't. And then the second example I would use would be BetterHelp. So BetterHelp was like an online therapy thing. And it was basically very badly run. And like, I think that actually in the case of established titles and in BetterHelp, I think that in both those cases, the people that promoted it do have a degree of accountability because the problems that were evident with BetterHelp were public already. It's not like this was a secret. It's not like this is like you never tried it yourself, etc. So those 2 things are examples of this being a problem that is way farther beyond just YouTube. Or sorry, just finance. The one talking about buying a tree and you get something, I can't remember. Well, that was accurate. That was Mr. Beast. If you donate money, a tree will be planted. That did happen. As far as I know, it happened.
I think I'm going to end this video by reading a comment one of Graham's viewers left on his video. Judging from the thumbs up, seems like a lot of people agree. I've stopped watching so many creators I used to follow because it's so obvious their content is solely based on their affiliate marketing and chasing the dollar rather than providing the true value they used to.
This is so true. This is a massive problem that a lot of people on YouTube have, is that they lose the passion with what they're doing, but they have to keep doing it in order to make money. So they're just trying to cash in and do whatever they can to make money. And this is the case, by the way, this is like, I mean, WoW content creators. Like, I cannot imagine what circle of hell that you would have to be in order to be making PTR guides for World of Warcraft Dragonflight. Like, holy fuck, that's past the river Styx, I'll tell you that. It's fucking awful. I would not want anybody, well, actually, I would say I wouldn't wish that on anybody. I would. But there are very few people that I would wish that on. It's awful. So yeah, people that are like stuck, and like you can see people, it's like especially like WoW players, because this is the community that I'm the most familiar with. It's so sad for me to see people that used to be like mid-tier streamers, and then now they're getting like 80 viewers. And if they do anything else other than the one little narrow thing that they're known for, their complete existence is gone. Right? And that's what happens, right? And adapt or go. Yeah, that's the way it goes. Losers lose. I mean, hey, I don't feel bad for people whenever this happens to them because, like, you made this happen. Like, in general, I don't, like, unless something happens to you, then it's like, yeah, you get hit by a car. Like, oh, yeah, that's sad. But also sometimes people don't look both ways before crossing the street. So it is kind of your fault still. So it's everybody always wants to talk about what's somebody else's fault, and nobody ever wants to talk about what's their fault. Some losers decide to win. Hey, there it is.
That's the end of the video. I will see you guys next time. Stay psyched.
Yep. There we go. That's the whole video. I probably should just let it finish at the beginning. I agree with pretty much everything she's saying in this video, by the way. She's completely right about basically everything. I think that the finance YouTuber resentment is about the stocks. Yeah. Good video? Yeah, absolutely. What if people accuse you of victim blaming? I am, because sometimes people are victims of their own stupidity. Oftentimes, victims in things that happen are partially responsible for it happening. My goal is not to sound good. My goal is to prevent a bad thing from happening. So I don't care about the optics of saying something. If it sounds like victim blaming, well, then maybe you should think about why that is. Sometimes the victim does have blame. Absolutely. It's stupid to think otherwise. The only people that don't think like that, this is the problem, right? Is that the internet is dominated by people with room temperature IQs that care more about how an argument sounds than what an argument is. So these people actually don't want to improve anything. They don't want to make anything better. They don't want to solve a problem. They want to sound good and virtuous at the expense of other people being damaged. So I don't do that. My goal is to try to say things that are beneficial to people. Like, you can use this, this will help you. Rather than, this is what you deserve. This is what should happen. This is the way that society should be. This is, I hope this happens. This is all bullshit. It's all fake bullshit that people invent to rationalize why their life isn't the way they want it to be. So yeah, no one deserves anything. Exactly. And so, nice try, but you're pro-taxes, so you're just as guilty? I am pro-taxes. Absolutely I am. And you are too, by the way. Because if you didn't have any taxes, there'd be a warlord that would show up at your house, rape everybody in your family, kill you, and take your stuff. That's why you pay your taxes. That's what happens. Because all the places in the world that don't have taxes, they've got that instead. So you're either paying a tax to the government or a tax to a warlord. That's kind of what they do already. Yeah, but it's not, though, right? It's really not. So taxes equals protection. Yeah, people don't even understand. It's sad to see what people say like that. It really is. You should sell a course on your life skills? I don't think so. I thought about doing, so this has been a theory of mine or an idea of mine that I've had for a while. I'll be curious to hear what people's perspective on this is. I've thought about doing an advice stream where people can call in and ask for advice. And I will give them advice on whatever they want. You guys want that? The queue will be huge. And it's like, basically, it's like the Loki meme from Thor 2, that you must be so desperate to come to me for advice. It's like you're going to get advice from the worst person that you could possibly get advice from. Of all the people that you could ask, you're asking the worst fucking person. I think it'd be really funny to do that. No offense, I love you, but unless it's streaming related, I wouldn't want advice from you. That's the funny part. That's the good part. That's the whole point. There's definitely going to be times it's content as fuck. Yeah, exactly. If you don't know the answer, will you let the person know? Well, of course, yeah. I mean, if I just tell people bullshit, it wouldn't be entertaining if I was just giving bad advice. Or I was just giving advice intentionally to troll. Of course. Got to give good advice and bad people keep guessing. Yeah, exactly. Can we call just to argue with you? Oh, I'm sure somebody will do that exactly. You can use the Twitch call feature. They get banned. Oh, I don't know exactly, but I'll figure it out. Either way, this is something that I'm considering doing. I think it'd be really funny. But yeah, that's what the plan is right now. It's a good idea except for one thing. This is Twitch and Twitch chat. 90% of the callers would try to troll you. No, there'll be people that actually want advice for different stuff. I think that's the case, absolutely. I'll be right back.